YouthWorks 2018 is open for business. You all just really need to let our young people know that Baltimore City Summer Jobs Program, which is one of the biggest and the best in the nation. Last year, just over 8,000 young people were able to work last summer because of the $14 million that we were able to raise privately and the efforts that were put in by the city as well. Wages earned flow back into the city, creating an economic stimulus. It also provides quality work experience for youth, and it teaches workplace skills. And let me just say, what we have said to the business community, not just to give us the money, but also to take individuals into their workplaces. The city does it, nonprofits are now doing it, and our companies and corporations throughout the city of Baltimore are doing it as well. So we are very, very excited about this program, and I can tell you, it was 8,800 young people, almost 9,000 young people who actually went to work last year. And I'm going to tell you, this year already we're experiencing that the demand is huge. In the first day online application period, nearly 2,000 young people have already applied. So it is incumbent upon all of us to supply the jobs and funding necessary to meet this demand. I'm sure if we were at 8,900, almost 9,000 last year, it's only going to grow this year. So this is a plea to the business community as well, and to those who can provide opportunities for our young people to work. All of our media organizations are included in that as well. We look forward to you all entertaining many of our young people because they too want to work in the media operations. Thank you. And so I wanted to call on Jason to say a few words. And Mr. President and Comptroller, you both know how valuable this program is. You've had young people working in your offices, and I didn't know whether you want to share anything before Jason does.
Yeah, good morning. Just that I'm a big supporter of youth work, have been a supporter of youth work since its inception in the city of Baltimore. I was a participant when I was in school. It wasn't called youth work. I forgot what it was called, but it helped me to put some extra cash in my pocket. So I'm a big supporter of this program.
Thank you, Jay.
I am also a big supporter of this program. It teaches our youth about money management, and it is also, in some families, it is their only form of income for them to purchase their uniforms and to purchase their supplies. So I am definitely a supporter of this and look forward to businesses opening up and opening up their doors and having us be able to hire more than the 8,900 youth that we hired last year.
And I just know firsthand in the Park Heights community, YouthWorks, they hire workers in the rec centers, the schools, the Zeta Center. So, and I want to thank the city agencies, transportation, sanitation. I mean, they all hire youth workers, and I can see the difference, particularly in the Southern Park Heights area that I represent.
Thank you. Jason, it's your show.
All right. Happy YouthWorks season to all, to one and all. I'm Jason Perkins-Cohen. I'm the Director of Employment for the Mayor's Office of Employment Development. Madam Mayor, I've already learned two things today. First of all, I did not realize that the council president is a former YouthWorks participant.
It was Work Youth then.
Work Youth, okay. And I also didn't realize that Davon Fleming is a former YouthWorks participant. So I don't know if we can take credit for his success in singing, and the council president.
And a Park Heights resident.
And a Park Heights resident, absolutely. I want to thank.
Everybody has a stake.
Everybody has a stake. And Madam Comptroller, in addition to the first work opportunity, it's also their first opportunity to pay taxes.
That's right.
I can't say they all enjoy that aspect of the experience, but it is important. Madam Mayor, I want to thank you personally for stepping out on this issue. I hope you all realize that the mayor didn't find YouthWorks when she took this office, that she has been a proponent of YouthWorks. I can't tell you how many years, but she's been out and about, and she goes to bat for young people when the cameras are not rolling, and we are really grateful for that, and that's a big part of why YouthWorks has succeeded and grown. I do want to talk about these numbers, because I know in this room and from this podium, a lot of numbers are thrown around, and it maybe gets hard to make sense of what a number means. As the mayor mentioned, in the first day, a week ago yesterday, nearly 2,000 young people registered for YouthWorks. And today, a week later, over 5,000 young people have registered for YouthWorks. That is an enormous number, and it means a couple of things, and this is what it means to me. First of all, 5,000 just a few years ago was roughly the number of young people that registered through the whole period. And in Baltimore, they can register for YouthWorks until March 2nd. So they got lots more time, but young people are anxious to get registered. The second thing it means is it's 25% more than it was last year. So I would like to tell you that we could see the future, but I know that if the YouthWorks team had gathered before this happened, I don't think that we would have predicted a 25% increase from last year. And the third and most important thing it means, and it's really critical to make this point, is young people in Baltimore want to work. These are young people, these are teenagers signing up for a job in the first week of January for a job that's not going to start until the last week of June. You don't do that, it's not, while it's an easy process to get through, you don't do it for fun. You do it because you truly want to work. And the first young person registered 7 minutes after the portal opened. So she was, very anxious to do that.
And it opened at midnight.
And it opened at midnight, and she was 18, and she'd been a former YouthWorks participant and is looking for more. The other thing it means is it means something for all of us, and the mayor touched on this, because this is not a passive announcement. This is where we need your help. When we're talking about numbers like 5,000 already, and we're going to get to 8,000, and we're going to get to 10,000, city government cannot do this alone. There's no way that the city government can employ 5,000 young people. Even if we could, it wouldn't be a good idea, because as much as we all enjoy working in city government, young people have other desires as well, in addition to city government. They want to work in healthcare, they want to work in construction, they want to work in hospitality.
And media.
And the media, absolutely. So we all have to do our part. So we are really urging employers in our community to register for YouthWorks. If we've got 5,000 young people today, we've got a good worker for you, and we want to make sure that they have the opportunity to get the best and brightest of Baltimore. I want to call attention to the website both for young people to register and for employers to sign up, and it's youthworks.oedworks.com, and that's what the homepage of the website looks like. Those are actually youth workers from last year. And I do want to call attention again to two other points. One is there's three things we're asking, which is hire, host, and donate. So employers can certainly hire, and that's sort of self-explanatory. Again, YouthWorks is a 5-week summer jobs program that starts the last week in June. They typically work 5 hours a day for 5 weeks. Second is that they can host. So this is more for the nonprofits and for government. They can be a host site where the young person goes to work and they still are paid minimum wage, which this summer will be $10.10 an hour. And the third option is to donate. There are some employers in our community that for the reasons of their business, a teenage worker may not be appropriate for their businesses. This is not many, but there are some. And they can make a donation to the Baltimore City Foundation so that a young worker can go to work at another location. And the last thing I would point out is, just to be clear, there's a 2-step process for a young person to go through to become a youth worker. This is the first step, they register. The second step is a verification appointment, and we will have at 12 different locations a total of 45 verification appointments. And the reason we have is one is we want to do a very quick interview, we want to get a better understanding of what the young workers' interests are, but we also, this is real. This is not a charity program, it's not a social program, these are jobs, and therefore, just like when you got your job, there's certain paperwork that needs to be exchanged. So we want to make sure that every young worker has this opportunity. We thank you for your time. Thanks so much.
Let me just add one other thing as it relates to the YouthWorks program. Some of these young people do end up working continuously with these companies and corporations. And I always like to tell the story of the young man who was standing on the bus stop and it was pouring down rain. I don't know whether the bus came late or he missed the bus, but he knew that he had to be to work on time. And instead of waiting, he ran those 2 miles to work. I got a call from the employer who said he is a keeper and he's still working there. So those kinds of stories trickle through many of the companies and corporations and even the agencies who will hire some of those individuals full time. The other thing I wanted to add, because we make sure that Baltimore City Community College is free, one of the things that we're going to be doing on, I think it's May 19th, is a jobs fair just for young people coming out of high school this year. asking employers to be available to make sure that we're hiring a number of our own young people coming out of high school this year. So this effort is important, but getting young people who want to work is very important to us. Yes.
What about for kids who are undocumented or whose parents are undocumented that might not have DACA quite yet, or are still kind of confused on where DACA lies right now?
We have no problem with that. We work that out.
Hiring for that
No,
program?
not at all.
So there's a way for them to
Absolutely.
get a work
Yeah.
visa?
They could do that through our partner organizations who work with undocumented youth, and we partner with them to help smooth out that process.
When's the jobs fair for the high schoolers?
I think it's May 19th. Is that the date?
It's actually May 9th.
May 9th, I'm sorry, May 9th.
All right.
Right.
I just want to, no, please.
Currently, how many jobs are available this summer for YouthWorks?
So typically what happens in January is the youth are very excited to work, and we're starting to network with employers. The employer number doesn't match the early demand for jobs, and we are constantly in conversations with employers. So we expect to get to where we were last year, which is 8,000 opportunities. We're not there yet, but I don't want to sound any alarms. This is, employers are planning for their summers as well, and we're in these conversations, but they haven't necessarily signed the dotted line.
We expect them to do so. I can tell you that I'll be hosting a number of businesses and companies. I'll be visiting them, talking to them about the importance of doing this. And so far, the business community has been very receptive in terms of the needs of the city, and I thank them for that, and I'll thank them in advance for this effort as well.
I just want to give one shout out to Ernest Dorsey, who runs the YouthWorks program, and all of the staff. Running a program for 8,000 youth, remember they don't sign up until January, and this is really big crunch where you have to bring all of those people onto payroll and then match them to jobs. It's a Herculean effort. They work truly day and night. It's a little bit like riding a roller coaster, and we're on the upswing now, and you know how that feeling you get in your stomach, but it's always fun, right? So YouthWorks is going to be great, but I want to thank Ernest and his team for such hard work.
Somebody asked Ernest a question. It's always hard to pull him to the mic. Come on, Ernest. Somebody ask him something.
Just wanted to echo in terms of needing employers to step up and be willing to hire. We don't leave you alone. We have people that will hold their hands through the process.
Okay. All right. Thank you. We have, thank you. We have a, where's I'm very conscious of the time because I've got to get to Annapolis, but we have one other early Valentine's present. How many people have tickets in here? Or will admit that they do? Parking tickets, parking tickets. So we're announcing our early parking amnesty. It will be a 2-day amnesty, 2 days only. It will occur on February the 1st and 2nd. There will be, we know what this, I think the last time we did this was 2020, when?
2003.
Ooh, 2003. Oh, wow. Okay. So in 2018, we will initiate this program again only for 2 days. We estimate that there's some 500,000 parking citations owned by more than 320,000 motorists who may be eligible for this amnesty. And so we urge people to take advantage of it. There are, here are the ways in which you can actually pay your tickets, which means that you will not be paying the fine, but you will pay the tickets. And you know how, some of you, I'm sure somebody in here has experienced a parking ticket, but you know how quickly those fines escalate. So the fines you don't pay. What you will pay is that ticket. And so you can go online, and by telephone you can use credit cards or bank account transfers. You can by mail, money order, certified check, and cashier's checks. I'm going to say that again. Money order, certified checks, and cashier's checks. In other words, no personal or business checks. Or you just may appear in person. Cash, money order, certified checks, cashier's checks, credit cards, and again, no personal checks. Mr. President, you and I have been talking about this for some time. So the other thing is the amnesty will be a waiver accumulated monthly penalty charges, I said would not, you don't have to pay those. But the 25, if you have a, what's the COB? The
The
boot?
city of Baltimore.
Okay.
The $25 flag.
Okay, the $25 flag fee, you have to pay that?
No, that will be.
That's eliminated?
Waived as well.
Okay, so that's waived. Fees assessed for bad, okay. All right. So would you like to share a few words?
Sure.
Mr. President, let me just say,
Yeah,
Mr.
yeah.
President and Comptroller, we're in partnership on this, so.
Thank you. You know, I brought this to the attention of the mayor. We talked about this amnesty program, and as you know, we have to deal with finance to find out how it would affect the city's books. And the mayor promised that she would come up with an amnesty program, and she delivered. And I'm happy to be a partner with this mayor who have kept her word on just about everything that she said to this council president and members of the council. Thank you.
Okay. I am happy to see parking amnesty because parking amnesty benefits our citizens who drive. Parking penalties are generally not dischargeable, so this is an opportunity to pay your parking tickets without fine or penalty charges. So please take advantage of the February 1st and 2nd date to pay these tickets. And when the city collects unpaid parking tickets, it benefits our city and also benefits our citizens. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Henry Raymond, Director of Finance. What I would like to add regarding this amnesty period are the items that will not be covered. The amnesty will not cover any fees assessed for bad checks, towing or booting, or lot storage for impounded vehicles. So what is included is merely the face value of unpaid citations. That's what's included. We're waiving the penalties on that. And I believe the mayor has explain the details, and we'll be notifying individuals that have unpaid citations in the next 4 to 5 days by mail, outlining all of the outstanding citations they have and all of the rules related to the amnesty period that's scheduled for February 1st and 2nd.
And so this is waiving basically late fees?
Yes.
Most of it?
Yes.
And how many outstanding parking tickets are there?
Approximately 500,000. Yes.
And so, and how many, do you know the number of additional charges on top of those 500,000 tickets?
We're scrubbing that data now.
Is there, do you know?
We can tell you what we did in
Yeah,
2000.
the last time, approximately 1/3 of the people paid. There were about 300,000 motorists the last time, and about 100,000 paid.
Which yielded about 3.9
Yep,
million.
correct. Yep, so we're scrubbing the data. We believe the numbers will be similar. So essentially, we're projecting between $3 to $4 million of revenue.
Does the city rely on this money, the extra fees on top of the parking tickets for any budgetary?
Yes, for running general government. So there's a specific line item in the budget for parking fines and a specific line item for penalties and interest on parking tickets.
Do you hope that with the last amnesty, did it actually bring in more revenue than if you hadn't implemented the amnesty?
For that particular year, you see the spike go up. In the following years, you see the revenue drop because we're losing the interest and penalty for those who paid.
You're expecting the same spike?
Yeah, we're expecting to see a similar trend for this amnesty period.
And at that time, so we have about 500,000 now outstanding. At that point, I think we had what, how many?
I think it was about 300,000 that were outstanding.
Yeah, so we got about 200,000 more that are
Right.
outstanding currently.
Right.
Okay, all right, thank you all. I'll just take some quick questions really quick because I've got to head to Annapolis. The session is about to open.
Can you comment on the situation with the schools in the city?
Okay, I did not get a call from the CEO, so I can tell you that I believe every school is about open. There is a problem with Calverton Elementary, and Bishop Laurie has reached out to us, so we're looking at Seton Keogh. The school system has identified at another school. I had my folks go over and look at Seton Keogh. very nice location. Transportation issues have to be dealt with, and so I expect the CEO of the school system, along with our folks, to make a decision pretty quickly because we need to get those children back to school.
Regarding schools, will you be asking Governor Hogan today about the additional schools being built this year, or what exactly will your conversation entail about schools?
Well, let me just say, I thanked Governor Hogan for the additional $2 million for the to rescue the schools for this particular period. Another $11 million will be added into the budget. I will be meeting with Governor Hogan sometime today around violence reduction and our legislative agenda, so very excited about that meeting.
Madam Mayor, should Senator Oaks be representing District 41 in the General Assembly this session?
I think that's up to the state, and I think the Ethics Committee is meeting on that.
Mayor, there's an allegation that's been raised by the attorney for the state senator that the senator was taking other officials along on ride-alongs with this individual who turns out to be an FBI informant, not a developer as he represented himself to be. But were you ever in the company of Senator Oaks and someone who looked to be a developer from Texas looking to do
No.
economic development?
No.
Do you have any knowledge of an investigation that might center on either state legislators or city council members?
Not that I'm aware of at all. Not at all.
Mayor, the General Assembly starts today. What do you want to see come out of this session?
Well, we're very focused on our financial needs for the city. We've got a violence reduction, some violence reduction issues, Safe Streets is in there, and some of the technology that's needed for the police department. So we're very excited. And then we're looking at legislation around some of the crime activity in the city.
Mayor, the monitoring team plan for the first year for implementing the consent decree just came out. What do you like? What do you not like?
There's nothing that I don't like about it. It is up on the website. It is there up until the end of this month for comment. I met with my call to action team on folks yesterday from all around the community. Asked them, please, we put it up on our website for people to please comment on it currently.
Is there anything you see that, any part of the plan you see that would be more difficult to implement than any other part?
Not at this point. I'll wait until after the community's made its comments. Got to get back to Annette. Sure.
We continue to hear from folks who have no water, even though the city may be telling them, they say the city's telling them they do have water. I mean, where are you at this point on getting water service restored to people who have, for one reason or another, have lost water service, individual homes?
So right now we're actually looking at about slightly over 100 water main breaks out there. We got about 1,900, what we call it, the frozen services. And these are folks that perhaps has a frozen pipe somewhere either on the public side or the private side. Now we do have a situation where when we pull our meter, water is flowing, then we know there's water getting to the property, but somewhere along the property from the meter pit to the house, the underground pipe is frozen. So that's something that we're dealing with. I have my team working around the clock, 12-hour shifts on and off. We got a command center is up and running. All of our contractors are working hard. So between city crews and the contracting crew, we have about nearly 30 crews out there around the clock working on all these issues. We have our meter shop going out there tackling all these frozen services as well. But at the same time, we've got to recognize that there are some what we call exterior leaks, meaning these are, the pipe is frozen, now is thawed, and now there's spring a leak. So we're going to have to go there, investigate, and all that. But I can assure you, we are working around the clock. All of my staff are on call. This is all hands on deck situation. And we're just asking folks to be patient with us. And I know many people are without water for some days now. But when everything's priority one, you know, that doesn't work. We're trying to prioritize, try to hit the most sensitive, the most important spots first, and the largest main first, and then eventually working down the neighborhood. But I can assure everybody, we know who you are, where the locations are. We're tracking that on our website, the interactive mapping that you probably have seen. And what I will say, our goal is try to get this all done in the coming days before the next wave, perhaps the cold weather.
Let me just take a moment to thank Rudy for, I called Rudy on Thursday, I believe it is, and said, go over to the school system, work with them, let's get these schools up and running. We had 60 schools that were offline, and before the weekend was over, we were down to 3, and then 5 popped off. So we had 8 schools that were offline. I think we have all of the schools online except for Calverton at
That's
this
correct.
point. And so Rudy went over, worked with the school system, set up a command center for them so that we could monitor what was going on and then deploy crews. I also want to take a moment to thank BGE and all of the contractors who Rudy was able to call on, because we do have emergency contractors and general services that work to make sure that the schools got up and running. Thank you all.
Thank you.